Hey everybody, it's Jason with Parallel Reality coming back with you today with an article from the day after Christmas, December 26th from Red State. And tell me this isn't something that you already like. Yeah, I kind of figured this was going to be the case. It says extensive COVID-19 origins cover-up revealed, and the Biden admin was pulling the strings. So I wonder how quickly I'm going to get one of those little wiki notes on this video from just merely mentioning some of these keywords here, specifically COVID-19, and frankly, I don't give a crap anymore because they should be exposed for their BS. So let's go ahead and see what the old coot was doing. It says it's long been known, at least through basic intuition, that U.S. government officials went to great lengths to cover up the origins of the COVID-19 virus. Former NIAID, might as well just say NIAID or something, NIAID, instead of NIAID. Okay, there we go. Whatever. It says former NIAID, almost screwed up again, Director Anthony Fauci infamously spent years publicly deflecting blame from China. Emails later emerged showing Wuhan Institute of Virology funder Peter Daszak, that's I think how it's pronounced, Daszak, had emailed Fauci to thank him for dismissing the lab leak theory. Whoops. Like, do people understand that like that stuff can be found? I mean, I'm not like a tech guy or anything, but it's like when you're saying email trails, like there's a trail. Like people will find it. Okay, no matter like how much you try to hide something like this is going to come out. So like, just don't say it on email. But I'm not defending them. I'm just trying to say like you're dumb if you're doing something like that. Because if you aren't familiar with the entire saga, which is long and winding, be sure to check out Scott Hounsell's extensive reporting on the matter. The level of corruption will blow your mind, and I believe this link here, probably yes, yep, that would be it. So if you want to go ahead and do that, the link is right here, and the link for this particular article is in the description below. It says, but while we've known about the direct involvement of Fauci and others, just how deep did the Biden administration's obsession with protecting the Chinese go? It says, a new report is shedding some light on that question, and the answers are astonishing. And there's a tweet thread from Jerry Dunleavy IV. He's a good follow. He's a reporter. He's like an actual one. And I'm going to skip over the thread here. So I'm just going to go right down to here. But you can go read it on his Twitter. If you don't know who he is, he's the guy that wrote about the Biden admin's horrible response to Afghanistan and what happened that led up to the Afghanistan withdrawal. So I highly recommend that book. I read it about a month ago. It's excellent. And it really makes you understand that there are a bunch of idiots working in the government, which, you know, it kind of means the same thing. Idiots do work in government. Back to the article. It says the situation can be complicated and hard to follow, but if you read the above excerpts provided by Jerry Dunleavy, it boils down to this. And again, not reading them, but here's the summary of it. It says there was a rabid, seemingly inexplicable desire by most of the federal government under Joe Biden to rebuff any suggestion COVID-19 leaked from a lab. Now I would go, why? Well, let's keep reading. As much of that effort centered on an April 2021 assessment that was presented to Biden and would become the backbone of his administration's response to the origins of the virus. As is revealed above, the FBI had ascertained a lab leak from Wuhan was the most likely explanation, placing a moderate confidence in their findings. So the FBI actually did something good and was right about something. How about that? It says, notably, that was the highest level of confidence applied by any of the other intelligence arms, despite the rest of them backing the zoonotic theory of natural origins. Yet, no one from the FBI was even present at the briefing with Biden to present the counter. It says, at the time, the FBI was the only agency that concluded a lab leak was likely, a judgment it had rendered with moderate confidence. But neither Bannon or any other FBI officials, who's Bannon? I know Steve Bannon, but that's not this person because the name is spelled differently here, so it doesn't say who that was. But anyway, it says, but neither Bannon nor any other FBI officials were at their briefing, so he's an FBI person, to make their case firsthand to the president. Okay, it says being the only agency that assessed that a laboratory origin was more likely, and the agency that expressed the highest level of confidence in its analysis of the source of the pandemic, we anticipated the FBI would be asked to attend the briefing. Bannon recalled in his first on-the-record interview on the subject, I find it surprising that the White House didn't ask. Yeah, you'd think the FBI would be there at something like that, right? Especially since they're the ones that did that, made that assessment. But okay. Again, incompetence all the way through in the Biden White House. Says it wasn't just the FBI either. Scientists from the National Center for Medical Intelligence also backed the lab leak theory. They even specifically cited evidence that gain-of-function research was taking place in Wuhan, despite that being dismissed as a conspiracy theory by Fauci and others. So again, another reason why that the little elf should be jailed, if not imprisoned, if not, let's say, capital punishment should be on the table, in my opinion. Says the findings of those scientists were scuttled together, though, because the Defense Intelligence Agency had come to a different conclusion and seemed to have no stomach for entertaining the lab leak theory. Are you starting to see how this web of intelligence agencies can be manipulated to present a certain narrative regardless of the truth? Yeah, like why would they say that that's just, nope, it's not a thing, when it's like, we have kind of evidence that it is. So it says 3 scientists at the National Center for Medical Intelligence, part of the Pentagon's Defense Intelligence Agency, conducted a scientific study that concluded that COVID-19 was manipulated in a laboratory in a risky research effort. Well, there you go. It says, but that analysis was at odds with the assessment of their parent agency, the Defense Intelligence Agency, and wasn't incorporated in the report presented to Biden. So it was a political thing then, because there's no other way that you would say, okay, these guys, the actual doctors are saying this is what happened, and then the other people are going, yeah, but we can't present that. So again, political. It says, here's where things get even more sketchy. While the FBI was pushing to have the lab leak theory taken seriously, the World Health Organization, who we should absolutely never be listening to, released its report endorsing the natural origin theory of COVID-19. Of course, they're going to lie. A bunch of commies run that, and commies lie, folks. It's just a life lesson for you. If you're a kid out there hearing this for the first time, just understand, communists lie about everything all the time. They are not to be trusted. Continuing on here, it says, many people rightly dismissed those findings as tainted by overbearing Chinese influence, seems likely, but one State Department official did not. That would be Adrienne Keene. She stepped in to provide a push for the WHO's report to be accepted as viable evidence of a natural origin. And so, where did she end up? Because she's running interference, apparently. So guess what happened just 3 months later? She was made She was made director of the Global Health Security for the National Intelligence Council. What a coincidence, right? She steps up to promote the China preferred narrative and suddenly gets a high-level promotion, putting her in charge of organizing the report on the origins of COVID-19. Yeah, what a coinkydink. Yeah, that's how'd you manage that one, lady? It says the FBI was already supporting the lab theory, but Adrienne Keene, a State Department official who had served as a consultant to the World Health Organization, and there's the connection, advocated for taking the zoonotic theory seriously. She said that the WHO report shouldn't be completely discounted, according to participants. Yeah, it should be all the time about everything. Keene, who had a PhD in infectious disease modeling from the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine, left the State Department shortly after the 90-day sprint to become the director for global health security for the National Intelligence Council. Well, could she be put on trial too? And also have her PhD stripped because obviously she's an idiot. Says the council was given a central role in organizing the report under the supervision of James Murphy, the National Intelligence Officer for Weapons of Mass Destruction. And says it is impossible to ignore what appears to be a disturbing level of Chinese influence in the Biden administration. Says whether that was being dictated from abroad or simply Biden officials being so entangled with the CCP that they felt the need to dismiss the lab leak theory on their own isn't that relevant. Deep breath. What's relevant is that a presidential administration was and remains inundated with people operating as Chinese proxies. That they were willing to manipulate national intelligence on an issue as important as COVID-19 should leave people questioning everything asserted by the federal government. Yeah, and I think you should do that anyway, especially with the Biden administration. I don't care if you do it with even Trump's. I mean, you should question everything the government says, but definitely the Biden administration because, well, they've just lied about everything. As to Joe Biden himself, there's a certain level of deniability that appears to have been built in. As far as we know publicly, he was bombarded with intelligence heads promoting the natural origins theory. Yet, given the Biden family's extensive ties to China, link right here, you can definitely go ahead and see that. It says, including monetarily, it doesn't take much imagination to assume that the president wasn't as oblivious as he wanted the public to believe. Yeah, he's probably on the take. It says, this is a massive cover-up, and it feels like the surface has just been scratched. The incoming Donald Trump administration needs to dig much deeper into this issue. Yes, they definitely do, and I hope they do. And by the way, if people that are going to be running all these agencies, they should be able to get to the bottom of this, and I hope they do. And anybody who covered this up and ran interference for the Chinese should be put on trial. And we should pursue the harshest penalty possible for them, because this is treason in a way, at least as far as I'm thinking about it. Or at least, hey, if the Biden administration can make up charges to go after Trump with, then we can just make up these charges and say, hey, yeah, it's treason. So let's just go with that. Anyway, yeah, this is just infuriating to see something like this, that we had a few 100,000 of our citizens die because Joe Biden was just on the take to the Chinese. Great president, huh? Anyway, that's enough. Let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Please like, share, subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.